In this video, I'm going to show you how you can significantly reduce your cost per click and cost per conversion in your Google Ads campaigns. Let's dive straight into it. So firstly, we're going to start with how you can reduce your cost per click on your Google Ads campaigns. So firstly, we need to understand what factors affect your cost per click. There's really a couple of core things that are going to come into play here. The main thing you need to be aware of is that all of these cost per clicks generally on pretty much all of the platforms out there will work on a bidding system relative to how many other companies out there are bidding for a particular keyword, and also how much they're bidding for that keyword. Now, the price that companies will bid for a keyword will usually be in proportion to the average customer value in that particular industry. So for example, things like the insurance industry can have a very, very high cost per click, but that's because the average lifetime value of an insurance customer can be extremely high as well. Whereas if you're bidding on a search term like nail clippers, for example, it's a very, very low value item, and as a result, it's going to have a much lower cost per click, because otherwise it's not going to be profitable for any company to run ad campaigns to that keyword. So the cost will usually be in relative proportion to the average client value for that particular industry. Now, there are a couple of other things that are going to come into this that you can actually change and have an impact on to reduce that cost per click, but it is worth saying here that it's not always a good idea to try to reduce the cost per click, because what you'll see with some campaigns is that you'll find a campaign that has a very, very low cost per click, but there's no conversions. You then might have a campaign that has a higher cost per click because you're targeting keywords that have more commercial intent behind them, meaning that somebody actually is showing an intent to buy a product or buy a service. Then that's going to have a higher cost per click. But that's not necessarily a bad thing, because it means you might get more conversions. So try not to obsess too much about the actual cost per click number itself. However, with that said, there are some things you can do. So one of the main things that's going to affect this is your Google Ads quality score. Now, this is really made up of several core components. One of them is going to be the relevancy of the ad copy to the keywords that you're targeting. So for example, if I'm targeting new OLED TV, and then the ad copy itself just says, LG such and such, it has the model number in it, that's going to have a low quality score because it's not actually showing what the user was typing in. Now, if the keyword I was targeting was actually that exact model of LG TV, that's going to have a much higher quality score, because the ad copy is now highly relevant to the actual search term that I'm typing in. Now, that's not to say you can only put in that keyword. You can put other things on it as well. And in fact, I would recommend that you put other things to try and make the ad copy stand out amongst your competitors. But you want to make sure that you are including the target keyword in your ad copy, because this is going to help you get a higher quality score. Now, the other thing that's going to affect this is your landing page as well. So when you set up an ad campaign, Google will crawl and scan your website, and if they see that actually this page doesn't contain that target keyword, then they're going to give it a lower quality score. And one of the things that we often see is when companies send people through to a home page as opposed to a dedicated page that has everything about that particular product or service that they're trying to bid on. So really, the key lesson here is to make sure that all of your campaigns are highly specific and highly relevant. Try not to go too broad here, because when you do, your quality score is going to be low, and therefore your cost per click is going to end up much higher as a result. Okay, so coming on to your cost per acquisition or your cost per conversion now, depending on what your objective is, the main thing that is going to be affecting this is the page that you are sending people to. So there's a couple of things that we touched on when we were talking about cost per click. Really, this is going to come down to a number of different factors. So it might be the congruency between your ad copy and the landing page. So for example, if you're making a claim or you're talking about a certain offer in your ad copy, but then when people get through to your website, they can't see that offer, right? It's not there. They have to click through to other pages. That's going to result in a high bounce rate. So a lot of people are going to leave your site, and therefore you're not going to be getting those conversions. So you want to make sure there's a good level of congruency from what people see in the ad to what they see the minute they land on your page. The other thing to factor in is what we call above the fold content, right? This is where you're going to lose most people. So above the fold is basically what people will see on your page before having to scroll down. So you want to make sure that that congruency is visible without people having to scroll down on your page, so it's instantly apparent and there is a clear user journey there. That way you're going to avoid getting clicks and then people just leaving your site because they think it's, you know, it's not relevant, or they're not seeing what they were expecting to see. The other thing you need to factor in is the design and also the copywriting on your website as well. If you've got poor copy, like the text on your website, it just isn't compelling enough. Maybe it isn't speaking to your audience in a way that resonates with them. You can lose a lot of people from having bad copy on your website, and it's why, you know, some of the top sales copywriters in the world are paid hundreds of thousands of pounds, because it can have a monumental impact on the actual results of a campaign that you're running. So do not overlook the copy on your site. Another element is going to be design. You know, does the design work in a way whereby it complements the copy? Is it drawing the visitor's eyes to the relevant sections on there? Another big factor of design as well is trust, right? If your page looks a bit old, if it looks a bit tacky, you know, if it doesn't look very professional, there's a very good chance that people are just going to question whether or not they should give their name and email address, make that purchase, whatever that conversion is that you're asking people to make. So you want to be very, very mindful of the design of your page as well. Now, if you'd like some more personalized feedback on your page and how you can start making your campaigns much more profitable, increasing your conversion rates and reducing that cost per acquisition, be sure to book onto our free website and marketing review today, where one of our team will go through your website, record you a 10 to 15 minute video screen share, going through your site and giving you some practical tips and suggestions on how you can increase the amount of traffic, leads and sales you are getting from your site and make your Google Ads campaigns much, much more profitable. I'm also going to link to a video after this one where I go through 16 tips that you can start implementing today to increase the amount of conversions you are getting from your site. So if you want to see that one, be sure to stick around for the next video, and I'll see you guys soon.